Sorry for the delay. Everyone out there watching my live streaming. Actually, almost forgot, so I didn't bother setting much up. I was just watching the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo because my dad recently bought the movie, and I was like, well, I had to watch the series before I watched the movie. Well, in any who's which way, oh, sorry about that. This is going to be my first official live stream, so bear with me, people, as I get things situated. Alrighty. Sorry for the technical delays there. But in any case, we will be starting the live stream now. And I still have to keep holding it for some damned reason. Just a minute. Let me put the. God damn it. Back there. It'll wait to hold the damn phone back. SpongeBob curtains. In any case, I thought we would begin this live stream with a simple talk. Not really sure any of you know this, but I myself am a huge fan of anime, otaku, and sword-related activities. Now, see if anybody's on the live chat. Top chat, live chat, visible, none, hide all chat messages. There's potential spam. Damn it. As I've said before, this is my first time live streaming, so bear with me, people, as I inevitably fuck this shit up. Alright, so there's that. Well, for starters, I thought I'd just open up by saying I am open to any and all questions and or forums that are related to the topics of sword and anything else that you wish to talk about via the Backwoods Samurai live streaming. Now, again, let's check these here. Live chat, all messages are visible. Community guidelines, blah, blah, blah. What the hell? God damn it. How the hell do you check your things with this? Okay, there's the filter. That's to switch the camera feature around. Okie I guess I should hit learn more. God, sorry about that. Again, technical difficulties. Remember to guard your privacy. What the hell? So I won't be checking the live chat anytime soon. But I thought I'd just do some random shit. Okie dokie. Well, this is actually pretty boring. I didn't have anything planned. Not very good for my first live stream, huh? Everything I say immediately goes on the damn internet. But in any case, got a new Black Panther shirt, so that's something there. Alright, well, obviously, I'm holding a sword, so most of you who are watching my live stream will be gotta do the sword, so let's talk about swords, shall we? Now, to be quite honest, I know what we can talk about. Let's talk about monsters in fantasy and why people have the stereotypical views of the monsters in fantasy. This will be an homage to Goblin Slayer, so bear with me, people. Now, a lot of people actually who have read the Goblin Slayer mangas and who have watched the Goblin Slayer animes will know goblins are nothing to fuck around with. However, those who haven't, well, they're just dumbasses. Yeah. J.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit really didn't do goblins justice. I mean, we've all seen, anyone who's really into fantasies or animes. I'm actually amazed on how much my camera actually captures during the live stream. But in any case, we've all seen the stereotypical goblin where they're very easily dispatched. Rookie adventurers can just go out, kill a few goblins, and come back. I mean, not like Thor and Oakenshield from The Hobbit. I'm not. But people have that mentality in Goblin Slayer that goblins are nothing to be worried about. And uh, if you're in a large enough group and the goblins are in a small enough group, then yeah, they're nothing to be worried about. But here's the thing: I do this in my first ever video. The size of the group of the goblin that you are going to kill and the size of your group is very important. But let's get down to the nitty gritty finds Dabby Sharpie killed goblins part that everyone here knows and loves and wants me to talk about. Apparently, I only think my friend BJ is watching, which if you are BJ, hit that damn like button. Share this with like Leaf or something. It's like, oh shit, I don't even think I told BJ I'm going live. God damn it. It's like, BJ, if you're watching this, then yeah, hit that damn like button because I'm about to take a pause from this live stream to tell you. Okay, now for all of you out there, BJ, if you're on this video, hit that damn like button. I still see 0 likes. I know where you live, remember? Like, hey, there she is. That's my one viewer. I'm so lonely out there now. I only got one freaking viewer. It's like, what the fuck? I need to get more people. Like, start prepping my channel on YouTube and like start preaching my damn channel. It's like, but in any case, for those of you who weren't here earlier, it's time we talk about Goblin Slayer. Yay! And BJ, don't turn this off. Now, I'm going to be talking about some pretty stereotypical things, and I'm only going to be talking about the world of Goblin Slayer in general. Now, in the world of Goblin Slayer, there's a man. His name, Goblin Slayer, obviously, main character. But in their world, goblins are not considered a threat. I mean, they're considered like rats, like mice, not a big problem. They're more of a nuisance than anything else. And in actuality, Goblin Slayer, or GS as we in the fan base call him, yeah, that fucking knows how to kill goblins. And I'm not kidding you. Okay, he knows how to kill goblins, alright? And the way he does this is he keeps evolving with every nest he kills. He learns from that experience and gets smarter. But in any case, GS knows how to kill goblins pretty damn well. I mean, he does it for 5 years professionally. It's the only quest that he'll take. Now, in actuality, people, I want to clear some common misconceptions. Goblin Slayer has fought other creatures before. It's just his primary focus is on goblins alone. Now, does that mean... Now, the goblins in this universe are child-sized with child-sized IQs or intelligence. Donald Trump. Had to throw that joke in there. Had to. But in any case, it's like they are considered very low on the intelligence scale and not a big threat. But then you see episode 1, where we have a swordsman, a kung fu chick, a witch, and a priestess, who later ends up joining Goblin Slayer's party. Her name is Priestess. For the other 3, I'm going to be referring to them as Goblin Bait for the swordsman, Kung Fu chick, and Witch chick. The reason I'm saying Goblin Bait is I'll get to that in a minute. But Goblin Bait, Kung Fu chick, and Witch chick get Priestess to join their party. And Goblin Bait over here, he's like, oh, goblins are no big deal. I killed a couple of them a couple years ago. Yeah, Rex Pex. It's like, you fucking dumbass. Mm-mm-mm. Get that shit out of here. Do not speak of such things in my atheist country home. But in any case, that's what he's like. He thinks goblins are no big deal. And because of that, Priestess even asks, when they get to the goblin cave, shouldn't we have prepared more? Shouldn't we have done this or that or gotten better supplies? And Kung Fu Chick and Goblin Bear are like, they're goblins. What's to prepare for? So they go inside the cave. Priestess starts to hear things. They're in there for a little bit, and then they come up to this totem-like thing. And Goblin Bait says, what's that, some goblin sex toy? And Kung Fu Chick agrees with him, and they're pressing forward while Priestess is still scared shitless. And Witch Chick is behind her. So they keep prancing forward into the cave, and all of a sudden, Priestess, she hears something back behind her, and Witch Chick's like, whoa. Witch Chick starts getting all bitchy and is like, well, how the hell could something be behind us when we just came from that direction? And then everyone is laughing, and then shit goes down. I mean, it all goes to hell in a breadbasket. Witch Chick gets stabbed in the stomach by a poisoned dagger. At the time, they didn't know it was poisoned. Priestess over here. Her holy miracles, they are divine light and healing. She uses, and she can only use them 3 times a day, which I'll cover later, in which I will now explain that that's a crucial part in both manga and anime, because later when Goblin Slayer steps in and basically goes berserk on their ass, literally, the anime Berserk, I suggest watching it. It is a really good anime. Little nudity, little sex, but mostly a bunch of blood splatter and a guy wielding a huge ass bust your shit sword. But basically, GS over here, he goes berserk, spashes one one living high school of the dead, Anichi Harem anime, which I would suggest watching. But in any case, he bashes the skull of the goblin with his shield. Alright. And then the other goblin, well, I think it was either the shield or the torch. I haven't reread those chapters or watched that episode of the anime in a while. But I do know that in the other goblin, he stops with his arm, but the goblin manages to stab him in the neck with this knife. And then the goblin makes this face. I fucked up. And then GS goes, BAM! Terminator edition with a damn knife. But back to Goblin Bait and his crew. Now, after the witch girl gets stabbed by the poison knife, Goblin Bait over here and Kung Fu Chick comes racing back. Priestess tries to heal Witch Chick, only to realize it's not working. And I'm like, it's poisoned. You don't have the power to remove poison yet. So all you're going to do is, A, close the wound probably, and make it a lot worse because you're going to close a poisoned wound. That's just going to lead to even more of the simplest fact that if you're closing the wound when it's poisoned, I want you all to think about this. If you are closing the wound when you are poisoned, the poison is stuck inside your body and there's no way to get it out. And the way goblins make their poison is quite literally mixing piss, shit, and poisonous herbs together. That's how they make their poisons. Not high tech. But you try being high tech when you have the brain of a child and it's like, ooh, this stuff come out of my asshole and it could really wreck some fucker's day if I put it in a wound. So I'm like, ooh, make it. And then then old big daddy goblin come in your room and it's like, oh, what the hell you making? It's like, I'm making poison shit. And it's like, good idea, go stab some adventurers and take that gear. Well, in any case, that's basically how they do it. But back to the main topic of this discussion, Well, our dumbass friend here, old Goblin Bait, starts swinging around his massive longsword in a very confined space with 4 other people. Now, I cover this in the 34-minute video on my channel, Goblin Slayer, where you can effectively use a longsword in that kind of situation. It just has to be more thrusts, like not huge cleaving slashes like this. You gotta go precise thrusts like this. But in any case, he starts flinging around the sword and almost cuts off a Kung Fu chick's head. And let's face it, Goblin Bait's not very smart. If he was smarter and he actually did research into goblins and how they act and how they fight, he probably would have realized that A, I need a shorter sword. B, a small shield would probably be very useful. C, what the hell is going on with Family Guy? Oh, so that's what happens. I'm watching Family Guy while I'm doing this live stream, and it's like, okay, Drunken Clam versus, and now they brought the guy out with the 1 eye and the 4 peg limbs. But in any case, back to the whole Goblin Slayer thing. Goblin Slayer. Why do I keep wanting to say Goblin Slayer, but Goblin Bait here. He's swinging around his sword like a dumbass, and he actually manages to kill a couple of these things. Kung Fu Chick is doing fairly decent until she goes to kick a hobgoblin. Anyone who's watched the anime knows where that scene goes. But in no unmixed terms, and I will probably catch hell for saying this, but Kung Fu Chick gets captured by the hobgoblin, thrown against the wall of the cave, and then she's raped by the rest of the goblins. There, I said it. This anime has rape in it. Call the damn feminist squads. Not that I'd pay attention to you anyways if you're a feminist, because I don't give a fuck about your opinions, and you don't give a fuck about mine. And I know you don't give a fuck about mine, so why the hell should we even bother having that argument? But in any case, yeah, that's what happens to her. She manages to survive, but she's mentally broken for life. Yay, dark fantasy. It makes everyone's life better. Except for hers. That's just fucked up. I know. I'm not all there in the head. But in any case, I should probably get medication for that. I don't know. What did you expect my live streams to be? Talking about nice things? No. We're getting down. We're getting balls deep into this shit. But in any case, GS comes in much later. Goblin Slayer comes in much later. Now, what happens after that is simple. Kung Fu Chick, while she still has some degree of sanity left, tells Priestess to run, and instead of heading for the exit, she heads deeper into the cave. But in any case, with that in mind, she heads deeper into the cave, and that's not even the fun part, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that rape is fun. It's just, it makes for good porn comics and revenge movie themes. But in any case, Kill Bill, for example. Anyone seen Kill Bill, you know what Beatrice Kiddo went through during 30 years of coma. Kinky. But in any case, it's like, anyways. So she's going further into the cave. Goblin Bait over here, actually, he keeps swinging his sword around. He's so blinded by his dumbass rage that he's not stopping to think, okay, if he at least had this thought running through his mind, it's like, I have a very long sword in a very cramped space. How do I use this? He probably would have formulated that the best, and I really should take this back. I would think a wrist cut would be very good because with a wrist cut, you are literally flicking your wrist forward, and you can actually do some pretty substantial damage with a heavy sword and a two-handed wrist cut like this, where it's like a two-handed wrist cut. But in any case, or just a quick little thrust. But in any case, Goblin Bait, he swings his sword going around to help Kung Fu Chick. Doing! Hits the damn thing off a stalactite and finally gets savagely ripped apart by goblins. I mean, it's gruesome. There's blood flying everywhere. There's freaking intestines. There's bones. You're hearing him scream bloody ass murder. It's all. You would think that the funny part is, people, the funny fucking part is, you would think this anime is rated fucking R. It's rated PG! Yeah, it is rated P effing G. Okay? It ain't rated for public audience. It's for parental guidance. It's like, damn straight this shit should have some parental guidance. It's like, Mommy, what's that one Greek guy doing to that girl? It's like, my whole puberty is ruined. But seriously, people, Goblin Slayer, it easily has the R rate on it. It is literally R rated. But the funny joke is, if you're a guy and you have a friend who's never watched anime before and you recommend Goblin Slayer, it's like, oh, it's PG, it's not bad. Then they watch the first episode and they call you up and they're like, fuck you. Just fuck you in the ass with a goblin dick. It's just, oh god. But in any case, I can get a lot away with a lot more rambling now that I'm on live stream, can't I? But in any case, so after their party gets completely bull-fucked, shit-faced killed, I mean, Kung Fu Chick survives, but she's getting her ass pounded. Literally. And I know you're probably going to think I'm not sensitive. I'm not. I'm as blunt as a damn hammer. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. Just like I said when the feminists started knocking on my door. I'll just say, fuck you, bitch, and just start throwing flaming shitballs at her. I can get the shitballs, okay? I will go to Taco Bell. Probably can't get a Taco Bell endorsement now. But I'll sure as hell try. But in any case, she went deeper into the cave with old Poison ass on her back, and she is quite literally in the fetal position doing this at this point. And because of that, she gets shot in the arm by a goblin arrow. Obviously poison, because they poison all this shit. It's like, you think these guys are related to the Joker by how much they laugh? It's like, just with how much they laugh and the fact that they poison everything they use, you think this has something to do with the Joker? What does she here? The Joker. Not very good. Oh, and by the way, hit that damn bell so you're notified of all my shit that goes on. That little bell next to the subscribe button will tell you everything I do. It'll let you know whenever I'm doing one of these live streams or whenever I'm uploading a video, which I'll probably upload a video after I do this live stream. But in any case, it's like the new Sword Art Online commercial. But in any case, She goes deeper into the cave. Lo and behold, is shot in the arm with an arrow. And in classic, I want you all to know this. Apparently, 15 years old is the age of adulthood in Goblin Slayer. Because she is, literally says she's an adult now. Yeah. Although, back in those days, Goblin Slayer is based in a medieval period, so even back in those days. And I'm going to give a little spoiler for those who have read the manga, because I saw this once on Reddit, and I don't know if this is actually in the manga or just a damn good artist adaptation, but Priestess literally says she wants to have Goblin Slayer's babies. And I am so pumped up for that manga chapter. I want to read what leads up to her saying that so fucking badly. God damn it. But apparently 15 is the age of consent in that world, which is not uncommon, because back in the Middle Ages, during medieval times, 11th century, all the way up into like 15th century, for example, humans did not have that long of life expectancies today. No, usually the life expectancy for a human is around 70, 80 years, give or take. I know in Japan the life expectancy is around 100, but here in the States I think it's like 80, but Japan has a lot more, well, they have a lot better diet. They don't eat as much fast food as we do here in America, but in any case, it was not uncommon for a 15-year-old girl to marry an older man in medieval times. It was not even uncommon for a 13-year-old girl to marry someone back in those times, because, again, people did not live as long as nowadays, and there was a lot of different social norms and a lot of different rules of etiquette and all kinds of different stuff that we do not have today. For example, marriage back then was a lot more complicated than it was today. Back then, it could be as simple as nowadays people get married for love. Nowadays people get married for love, or in the case of gold diggers, to get rich, which is what they did back then. But also, nowadays we have something called an annulment, where within the first few weeks, if you are not satisfied in the marriage or you are regretting it, or you can have the marriage annulled, which means you are no longer married, or wait a couple of years and get a divorce. Of course, I would stick with annulment, because that way, if you choose to no longer be married after this, if you choose to be uh, split up in that set period of time, then you don't have to go through all the shit of a divorce. And in any case, with that in mind, oh yeah, and wait at least 3 years before you have a kid with the girl, so that way you can make damn well sure that if you do get divorced, you're not stuck paying child support. I know a lot of single dads out there are going to be realizing, that's what I did wrong. And I know a lot of people are going to make flack about that, but again, I've stopped giving a shit about what I say. I offend people, I offend people. This is what I do. But in any case, back then it was a whole lot different. If you got married, women had very little to no power back then in actuality. And with that in mind, if you were married in the 1500s and you were a guy, you could basically say, screw you to the girl and go bang another woman. And a social norm, as many people have come to accept it back then, according to history, was if your husband slept with another woman, it wasn't his fault. It was your fault for not satisfying him. But nowadays, as I've said before, we have a whole bunch of different social norms and etiquettes, and nowadays it's the guy's fault, not the girl's fault. Unless the guy was raped by a hot girl. Which I can pretty much guarantee you, girls, if you have a boyfriend and he says that he was raped by the girl he slept with, 9 times out of 10, that's a lie. Okay? Because here's the thing. Guys are all naturally born a little perverted, and some guys try to hide it, other guys like me accept it and basically embrace it, and other guys take it to a whole new level. But aside from that, back to the marriage thing, if you were a woman in the 1500s, you could not get a divorce. You were stuck with that husband until he died or he himself wanted a divorce, as far as I know about 15th century to 11th century to 15th century marriage laws. I am not an expert on those laws. Do not quote me on what I say. Do your own damn research and stop relying on us YouTubers to give you all the information you need. Because I tried to write a paper for one of my projects at school based on a video I found on YouTube, and guess what? I got a fucking D. And usually I got C's on my papers in that class, so I was a little annoyed. And guess what? I got not a D. I got a fucking F. But fuck this shit. But in any case, that was basically it. You were stuck with the husband you had back then. Nowadays we have annulments and we have the ability to leave our husbands or wives or whatever you choose, whatever way you want to go, whether you're gay or queer or straight or whatever. I don't really give a damn. I'm not judging anyone based on their sexual preferences. I'm straight. I have gay friends, I have queer friends, and I have bisexual friends. Well, actually, those queer, bisexual, and gay friends are all the same people, but still, you get the point. They are actually my best friends, and I have actually told them that if you set yourself up for a joke, I'm going to make it. I'm not going to judge you on your sexual preferences. I'm not going to judge you on whether you're gay or straight or whatever. Well, actually, I don't see why we don't just call them queers anymore. I mean, gay, the literal definition of that word, G-A-Y, is not a person of attraction, is not somebody with an attraction to one of the same gender. Gay means literally to be happy, to have a good time. Why do you think in the fucking Flintstones song, the last line of the damn song is "We'll have a gay old time"? Because back then, if you actually said you were gay, you were happy. Damn, caught something in my throat. Sorry, I have this. I'm having this sore throat thing. But in any case, nowadays you say I'm gay, all kinds of social media shit blows up in your face, and I'm actually tired of that shit. I'm telling you now, stop the fucking shit already, people. Who the hell cares? It's like, you hear all these stories of, oh, my dad kicked my sister out of the house because she found out she was we found out she was lesbian, or, oh, my dad kicked my brother out of the house because he was gay, or some shit like that. I am tired of that shit, people. I'm going to tell anyone who's actually watching this, aside from my friend BJ, that if you are gay or straight, just be as proud as you would be to be, whether you're gay or straight, just be proud. I don't give a damn. Me personally, I will make jokes. I will insult you, but I will still be your friend. And my friends know this. I'm not going to mention them by name because I do not have the express permission, and I don't really know how the hell YouTube rules work. Like, I just saw the agreement and I was like, I don't want to read this and hit the agree button, so I'm probably gonna get shit for this, boycotted or some fuck. But whatever the case, I'm tired of all this shit against people like that, and it's the same all over the world. The fucking prejudices that people have. Just fucking stop the goddamn prejudices, people. Outlaw Samurai orders this to be done. By my will, by the sword in mine hand, I order you to stop these godless prejudices. But in any case, yeah, I will make jokes and all that other shit. But it's the same with actually. It's the same with a lot of things actually. Even I really don't want to say this, but a lot of innocent Muslims, if you're of the Islamic belief in this country, you're getting a bad rap because of a few radicals over there in Iraq and Israel. Now, a lot of people will think, and I've seen these memes, a lot of people think that just because you wear a turban, you're automatically going to kill somebody. I don't. I personally believe everyone in this world deserves to be trusted until they prove that they can't. And what I mean by that is, do I trust every Arab I see? Yeah, I, I'll trust them to be a decent person until they prove something wrong, and then I'll let them have shit about it later when I'm ranting to myself or when I'm talking with my friends. But in any case, I do not have those prejudices or anything like that. I could really not give a damn about it. And there's another thing. It brings up the topic of religion. All right. Religion is a fickle subject nowadays, but I just wanted to say this plain out without any mixed words on certain T's. Outlaw Samurai, which is me, is an atheist. That's right. I don't believe in any god or religion. Now, does that mean that I'm going to force this down people's throats? No. That means I do not believe in the Christian God, the Islamic God, the Hindu gods, plural, because there are many gods in Hindu, the Nordic gods, or the Greek gods, or the Roman gods, again, plural, or the um, any other pantheon of divine deity, the Egyptian gods. I don't believe in any of that. Now, does that mean that I really give a damn about any of this? No. Your religion is your business and your business alone. As long as you don't try to force your religion on me or anyone else that I know and I respect, then I won't give a damn. And I'll still sit down with you at a bar and I will have a drink with you. And we can discuss religion all you want. The funny parts, the sad parts, any part that you deem necessary. I will gladly discuss over a few beers and probably end up having a barroom brawl with you afterwards because you'll say something that will piss me off. But yeah, I do not give a damn about other people's religion because I don't believe in religion. I'm not blinded by the social prejudices that people have gotten over the years. It's like, oh, the Quran teaches you to blow shit the fuck up. No. The Quran in Islam teaches of peace and prosperity, not to kill everything in sight. Now, I am not a devout Muslim. I don't really know what the hell the religion is actually called, but I am not a devout Muslim, and nor will I ever be because, again, I don't really care enough about religion to ever dedicate myself to practicing one. Now, now that I've gotten that little tangent out of my system, I'm going to try to get back to the other topic I was talking about before all that shit happened. Goblin Slayer. But in any case, she goes into the cave. Priestess goes down into the cave with witch chick. She gets shot with the arrow, and then she pisses herself out of fear. And then, out of the shadows of the darkness of the depths of depression, comes a beacon symbol in gilded armor of victory and hope to save the day. The socially traumatized Goblin Slayer. Yeah. I'm going to say this because it will... in Goblin Slayer, when goblins win, shit gets destroyed. Goblin Slayer shows us what happens when the goblins win. And how they reproduce, through raping girls. But that's besides the point. Goblin Slayer, in a nutshell, his sister was raped and then her flesh was devoured by orcs and he watched it happen. Then he goes off with this Rina, a creature similar to that of a hobbit, a halfling, to be trained to kill goblins. And he gets trained to kill goblins, and then 5 years later, when Priestess meets him, he starts killing the goblins in that cave. And he gives Priestess an antidote, to which she then turns around and tries to give it to Witch Girl. But Goblin Slayer says it's no use, she's already been poisoned and she's going to die. Goblin Slayer then, with mercy, then takes his sword, pushes it through her heart, and mercies her. And in doing so, upon mercying her, Goblin Slayer... damn. But upon mercying her, Priestess starts to cry, saying, no, we can save her. And then Goblin Slayer again says it was too late. Then Priestess drinks the potion that Goblin Slayer gave her in the first place. Now, this is what I said earlier, where the 3 miracles would come into contact, because she has currently 2 spells. She gets 2 more spells as the anime goes on. She gets I think it's Divine Silence and then Holy Protection, which is creating like a force field. Holy Protection is creating a force field. Holy Silence is basically taking your voice away. But in any case, she can only use them 3 times a day. And she'd already used one on Witch Girl. And Goblin Slayer asks, how many miracles do you have left a day? Because apparently in Goblin Slayer's world, if you are a holy, or if you belong to a holy order, you don't have spells, you have miracles. And these miracles that Goblin Slayer is asking her about is what she can do. And she tells him, I have I can use miracles 2 more times a day. I have the powers of Holy Light and Divine Healing. I don't really remember if those are the correct words or not, but I'm going to use them because they are from my own dark fantasy book, Orc Slayer, which I am currently taking a leave of absence from writing so I can get back to writing another book. But in any case, he tells her that she can only use the miracles 2 more times. And Goblin Slayer is like, don't waste your miracles with Holy Light. Holy Healing, Divine Healing, use them with Holy Light. And she listens to him. All of a sudden, a goblin guard comes up. Goblin Slayer throws down his torch, throws a throwing knife, and stabs Goblin Guard in the head. And in doing so, proves once and for all that he's more badass than freaking The Rock on crack. He's more savage than The Rock on crack. I can just see that meme now. But in any case, Goblin Slayer, he's doing all this shit. He kills the goblin, and Priestess... But Priestess asks him, can you see in the dark? And Goblin says, like a badass, no, I just practice. He literally just says that. And it's like, bad ass fuck. But in any case, Goblin Slayer, he kills the guard. He then sets up a little trip line for the Hobgoblin, which is a lot bigger than a normal goblin, that he's going to lure out of the cave to chase after him. So him and Priestess go down to into the side. I forgot to mention this earlier, but when Priestess started hearing everything and the witch girl said that's impossible, Goblin Slayer actually showed her that there was a side tunnel branched off that if you have a torch, you would have missed because the shadows of the cave wall would have hidden the side tunnel because it was inset into the wall. And their whole attention was focused on the Goblin Totem. So I'm clearing that up now. Sorry about that. But in any case, after that, Goblin Slayer and them go down that that side tunnel, okay? And they go down the side tunnel, and then about, I would think, a quarter of the way down, Goblin Slayer tells her to use Holy Light, and she illuminates the cave, and Goblin Slayer shouts out, like, there are 20 goblins left, and plus one hobgoblin and one shaman, a magic-using goblin, which, goblins and hobgoblins. Hobgoblins are created when a goblin survives his horde being eradicated and becomes a wanderer. They become a lot stronger and a lot more powerful than ordinary goblins. Same with shamans, but instead of strength, they focus on magic. But in any case, he throws a spear he took from the goblins. And here's another thing. Goblin Slayer does not rely on a set weapons. True, he does carry a short sword and he does carry a shield. But when his sword blunts or when it becomes too caked in blood and oil to use it anymore, what he does is quite simple. Throws it away and picks up a weapon that the goblins dropped and then starts killing them with that. So he does this with a spear he picked up from the goblin scout. He throws it into the chest of the shaman, and then he has Priestess hightail the hell out of there in the opposite direction, telling her to remember where the trap is. And she does. She jumps over it like Goblin Slayer did, and the hobgoblins will come up, and Goblin Slayer shouts out, "Now!" And then she starts chanting the spell for Holy Light, blinds the hobgoblin. Goblin Slayer kills that hobgoblin, alright? Then he pours gasoline on that hobgoblin's corpse, sets it afire, and then pushes it down the side tunnel. And with that in mind, the priestess is concerned that the fire will take over the hostages. And Goblin Slayer is like, there is not burning, with so few bodies for the fire to burn off of, it's not going to spread very far. And because of that, they go back down, I assume, once the fires died down. Priestess goes and comforts the now very broken, very mentally battered Test. Sorry, never mind, I saw it on Family Guy. Very broken, very battered girl, Kung Fu chick, while Goblin Slayer, the shaman wasn't dead until Goblin Slayer got back down there. He finally killed the shaman completely, busted up the shaman's little throne of bones, and behind that was the goblin's waste heap, if I remember him saying correctly. And there inside were 5 goblin children. Now, you're probably going to think I'm going to say, oh, Goblin Slayer, he sounds like a badass, and it's like he wants revenge, but he's not going to stoop so low as to kill children, right? No. You're wrong. Because, like, this line from the Doom guy, like, oh, that's another thing. The guy who voices Doom in the video games also voices Goblin Slayer. But in any case, so basically, Goblin Slayer is Doom Guy. So basically, like the line in the song Doom Guy versus Master Chief, when I empty out my ammo, then you'll get beat to death. When I empty out my weapons, then you'll get beat to death. And that's what Goblin Slayer does. He satisfactorily beats the goblins' children to death with a club. Priestess over here trying to stop and be like, maybe there's a good goblin. And it's like, Goblin says, like, maybe if you look hard enough, you'll find at least one. But I think the only goblins that are good goblins are the ones that never show their face to the light of day. That is what he says. And then we hear the screams of agony from the goblin children, and he's beating them to death with a club. Just pounding, pounding, pounding. The blood and squishing sounds of skull being imploded on by each blow of the club. And it's like, oh my god. First episode of this anime, I was hooked. And believe it or not, the manga, in actuality, is much, much, much more darker than the anime. You like that little effect there? But in actuality, the manga, I don't see why people say the manga is darker, because I really don't see that much of a difference. Although you do see a lot more boobage in the manga than you do in the anime, but that's to be expected. Manga can get away with a lot more shit than anime, because in manga, you have a lot more controlled reading pool. You say new anime in Japan, you're going to have a line of otakus sitting at their TV screens. You say new anime to us in America, we're going to flood Funimation's website. We're going to flood the hell out of Funimation. But you say new manga, and only the readers of that manga will go and buy it. Now, those who like the manga and who read and who watch the anime, like Dragon Ball Z, for example, thousands of people started reading the manga before the anime was even created. And once the anime was created, people both watched the anime and read the manga. Because a lot of times, anime will take a different turn than what the manga originally had. Case in point, I really don't know a good case in point off the top of my head right now, but sometimes you'll have the main character, it's like, in the anime, the main character will, my right arm got cut off! But in the anime, it's like, oh no, my left arm got cut off, because it was easier for the animators to draw, sloppy animation, boo! Or sometimes in the, Transformers, for example. In Transformers, the 1980 movie, 1980 series, I should say, Optimus Prime only dies once. Technically, he dies twice, because he comes back as Zombie Prime for a short time before he then sacrifices himself and then gets brought back to life a second time. But, what happens here is quite simple. Optimus Prime only officially dies once in the cartoon series. That's in the canon not a huge box office hit, but also very much canon. Transformers 1980 animated movie, Transformers the movie. Yeah, not a lot of thought went into naming that. I would have personally called it Transformers the movie, Wrath of Unicron, or Transformers the movie, A New Horizon. But in any case, with that in mind, Optimus Prime only dies once. In the Marvel Comics, however, which some people will boycott the animes and cartoons completely because they're not completely faithful to the comics that they grew up reading. I don't know any of those people. I'm fickle. If I start reading the manga and then I watch the anime. It's like, okay, this would actually, I can go back and be like, okay, that actually happened in chapter 12, but the anime has this in episode 1, as like this in episode 6. So basically, what they do is they basically can take 2 or 4. They basically fit 2 to 2.5 chapters of manga into each anime episode. That's how they get away with scrunching stuff together and having it out of order. Like in Goblin Slayer, the Battle of the Farm happened before the Watertown arc in the manga. In the anime, the Battle of the Farm happened after the Watertown arc in the anime. So, very good. But in any case, that's what happens. The manga and the anime take 2 very different turns. They take 2 very different turns, and they can be slightly acceptable. Like in the case of Afro Samurai, the manga was completely different from the anime, where it was more in depth with the whole revenge story. We see Afro having to kill a lot more quote-unquote innocent people in the manga than he does in the anime. But the anime was based off of the manga, and I do not give a damn who says Afro Samurai is a cartoon. If it has a manga, it's a damn anime, so fuck off. But in any case, Samuel Jackson made the whole thing worthwhile, voicing Afro Samurai and that stupid ninja that always seemed to want to mess with Afro's good time of killing things. Of course, the ninja did offer a lot of good comic relief to the Afro Samurai character. Let's face it, Afro Samurai is a stoic fucking badass, okay? But in any case, yes, sometimes manga and anime do differ, and sometimes the anime is very faithful to the manga. Sometimes, however, I don't know any of this case, but I believe that sometimes an anime is created first and then the manga. Or sometimes it doesn't even get a manga adaptation, it just goes straight to anime. But in any case, that's what happens. The manga and the anime just differ off. And I can see that my one viewer is no longer watching. So, BJ, you must have got tired of me talking, so... Oh boy, I've been doing this for about an hour now. Probably why. Oh. Until next time, Outlaw Samurai tells all y'all, be crazy rednecks, and be safe when using your weapons. I'm out.